Welcome to Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul. Right after 9/11 happened, my dad emailed all of us in the family. He told us that when World War II broke out, he was not allowed to fight for our country because he was the oldest son and had to stay home on the farm. Now he said, I am too old to be able to fight, if necessary, for our country. But as I am, I will do whatever I can to support you and this country. In essence, he was doing what he always did for us, to stand as a beacon of hope in the presence of fear. This week reminded me of those days after the 9/11 attack when we felt such a sense of paralysis, wondering what we will have to face going forward. Talking together with my husband, daughter, son, and daughter in law, I shared this story of Dad's letter and then told them that I too want to stand as a beacon of hope and support them during these uncertain times. Most of us have little control over the political powers and ramifications of decisions that will affect us. But we do have some important things: our attitude, our minds to think and learn, and our love. So I want to give you a couple of tools and ideas that I intend to use during these times to keep my eyes set on opportunity and possibility in enduring what we do not know and what may be difficult in the days to come. As I have said so many times that you may have memorized it by now, Viktor Frankl's wise adage that says, everything can be taken from a person but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. I want to pass on to you an email that I received this week from my good friend Tony Koloff, who started many radio stations in northern Iowa. Tony said, regarding last week's podcast, you brought up the memory for me of the lyrics in the song Accentuate the Positive, lyrics by famed lyricist Johnny Mercer. Came out in 1945 and was a number one hit for 3 years on Capitol Records. I was 3 or 4 when I first heard this on the radio as just a little tot while my mom had me in the room where she was ironing shirts. This is how I learned my positive negative wisdom that has been with me ever since. I never have forgotten the words or the vocal refrain of this record, and I'm 82. Song lyrics have been a very powerful educator all my life. They are short, sweet, and to the point, intertwined with the music of musicians and melodies of song. And you rang my bell in your podcast today. Thank you, Tony, for the powerful reminder that music is a great soother, inspirational coach, and source of motivation. During the pandemic, I had a song that I listened to on YouTube every evening called Stay With Us by Egil Hovland. It brought me peace and an inner knowledge that we could keep going. Another song I love to listen to that inspires my spirit is Barbara Streisand's A Piece of Sky from the movie Yentl. So, one of my tools to suggest is that you find some music that soothes your soul, inspires you to keep going in a hopeful way, just like Tony did. Another thing that I think builds within us to light our path is being observant for small things that I call little signs of hope. For example, I've had this little tiny orchid for 6 to 7 years. I think it bloomed once in that time. Guess what? It is, as of a couple days ago, sprouting two fresh green stems with buds on them. What's up with that? So in my journal, I log those little observations of hope. They keep me going. What's your best method of distracting yourself momentarily to get a breather from your thoughts or worries? One of mine is to have a jigsaw puzzle going all the time. It is fun for me to work on that, and I feel uplifted every time I do it, even if it is for a minute or two. And sitting down and playing the piano is another thing that distracts me. So think of your own small booster that can serve as a coping mechanism. It's what I call a coper. One thing for sure is to limit the amount of news you watch or read. It's good to have several reliable sources that you trust to keep you informed, and it's important to be informed. But becoming overwhelmed by the news is not healthy for your system or well being. I have several publications that I read with my morning coffee. Be sure not to end your day with the news. Remember the wisdom of B.J. Kossman, who said, the best bridge between despair and hope is a good night's sleep. And above all, Trust in the resilience and perseverance of the human spirit. Lean into the quote that helped me through cancer. Those who fear they will suffer already suffer what they fear. We can practice anything in our minds, and it not only alleviates anything that could surprise us, but it prepares us for anything. Another important tool is to remember the power we have in focusing our energy through our thoughts or prayers in the direction of peace, joy, helping others, and love. That's a huge tool. This week, Krista Tippett wrote, "This is an age of devastating tumult. It is an age of magnificent possibility. Much is breaking, much is being born. The two go hand in hand, and that is one of the deepest and strangest, most terrible and most redemptive truths of human reality." This week, on your bathroom mirror, write the wisdom shared by the author Edith Wharton. There are two ways of spreading light: to be the candle or the mirror that receives it. Remember, light destroys darkness. Like Tony said, find your song. It will keep your light shining. Join me next Monday for Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. I'm Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul.